Your words are like an arrow that leaves its bow successfully but never returns. This can be a source of great power and source of great misery. It can save you a lot of trouble if you can just remain silent at the right time. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, right? Therefore, within the next 10 minutes, I will share with you 5 reasons why we ought to remember to speak less and listen more. We will build up towards lesson number 4, in which I believe is the most important lesson of the video. Anyways, let's start right now with lesson number 1. Number 1. Silence leads to confusion. Imagine you are in a room full of people. It may be for a meeting or a social gathering. Everyone is chatting away, socializing, gossiping, and enjoying themselves. Yet there is one person in the group who is not chatting or is responsive to the group. A normal human reaction to this would be something like, is this person introverted? Maybe. Or are they just shy? Possibly. Is it a power play? Perhaps it's all of the above. The attention of the room has gradually shifted to this individual as more people become aware of this individual and more people become uncomfortable with this person's presence. This can be an important skill to practice, especially when negotiating, which we'll talk about later in the video. Silence can create confusion and disarm. As Haruki Murakami, a famous Japanese writer, says, silence, I discover, is something you can actually hear. Which leads us to lesson number 2. Number 2. Silence can enhance the epiphany moments. In a Harvard Business article by David Rock and Josh Davis, they mention, flashes of insight are not as random as they seem and can be fostered by specific conditions. Majority of us have a packed agenda, with meetings and different priorities that we need and should attend to. As a result, you may end up spending a lot of your day in the company of other people. There is nothing wrong with that, since we are social animals after all. However, going back to this article, researchers have found that people make smarter decisions after just 15 minutes of undisturbed time. This undisturbed time could be spent meditating, walking, or reflecting. This is because it made them more resistant to their own biases. So what does this mean for you? Well, consider taking regular breaks, whether that is a moment of solitude or perhaps going for a walk, in which, according to scientists, can even spur more creativity and epiphany moments. Number 3. Silence can improve your speaking skills. Silence makes many people uncomfortable, as we discussed earlier in the video. Don't believe it? Try intentionally pausing in your next conversation, whether this is in person or over the phone. Resist the urge to fill the gap with something to say. What you may find is that you have an urge to fill that void, or the person that you are speaking to has already filled that void for you. With this, as your awareness grows, you will notice how the majority of us have a yearning to fill the empty void. Now, this exercise isn't to showcase yourself as a weird person or bad conversationalist, but only to bring awareness of the biases that most of us have. If we are not filling the void with something to say, then it will often be with filler words like ah or or like. You may even realize that you say these filler words as your own awareness grows. However, the same objective of using these filler words can be obtained by taking a pause. But what is the objective of using these words? The objective is to allow our brain to catch up in the process of talking. That's why we tend to use filler words. Intentionally using pauses in your conversations, you will naturally become a better speaker, as your words flow more coherently without the constant filler words filling in for the voids. And guess what? People will more likely listen to you more, and that's what most of us want at the end of the day, right? For people to listen. Becoming a better speaker through understanding the value of silence will only help and improve your chances of success with the next benefit. Number 4. Negotiation. All these previous benefits that we have discussed in terms of the benefits of silence leads to this lesson, the idea of negotiation. Why negotiation? We are social animals. We are constantly gossiping, talking, and convincing people of our ideas. What do you think I am trying to do now as you watch this video? Side note, if you like this video, don't forget to share, like, and subscribe, as it helps this message reach more individuals like yourself. Anyways, whether this is in the form of selling a product, selling your skills, or even selling your ideas, this all involves the art of negotiation. American writer Ram Dass says, "We're fascinated by the words, but where we meet is in the silence behind them." Silence is important, As we reflect on our own conversation styles, we often are not listening with the intention of understanding the person's point of view. However, often we are listening so that we can respond. This becomes a never-ending cycle in which not a lot can be achieved from this. Silence and having the ability to pause can improve the likelihood of convincing people to your way of thinking. So whether this is asking someone on a date, asking your boss for a raise, or speaking to a family member, having the occasional moments of silence to understand their point of view and thus move your own piece on the chessboard can lead to a greater chance of checkmate. On the contrary, what you may find in people who are unwilling to negotiate is that they are more likely to be influenced. This may be hard to believe and contrary to popular belief, in which we will talk about this in our next lesson. The lesson of humbleness, number 5. Have you ever heard a quote that goes like, "The loudest one in the room is the weakest one in the room," or any type of variation to this? Now, sometimes there may be occasion in which it is beneficial to stamp down your authority and be the loudest in the room. However, for the most part, humbleness is a byproduct of all the other traits that we are discussing as being beneficial for a silent person. As you begin to see the world in a different light, as you are able to appreciate your surroundings and interact with them differently. Although being someone who is silent doesn't always have to be a prerequisite of someone who is humble. However, if you can embrace silence, you can become more humble, which in turn can make you more likable and approachable. As if you are the loudest in the room and unwilling to negotiate, then your words can also be used against you, in which instead, you become a checkmate. What were your takeaways from the video? Leave a comment down below, and if you want to learn about 6 lessons on how to keep calm or the benefits of being calm from a life of better well-being, click above here and we will see you in the next video.